So today we're going to change some front brake pads on this 2000 Suzuki Bandit. So the first job is taking off the reservoir. We need to do this, guys, let the pressure off so that when we squeeze back the caliper pistons, it doesn't push back the seals in the actual master cylinder itself. So I'm going to take that off. Like this. Now, normally speaking, usually find that there's a bit more fluid in there than we really need. So as we push the pistons back, we're going to fill the reservoir up. It's not too bad. So put that down there. What I would suggest is a small little tissue or something, just put in there, let it soak in a little bit, and then just, without dripping it all over your paintwork, just go and put that straight into the bin. So we've got enough in there now. So when we push the pistons in, it'll fill up the reservoir, it won't go all over the place, and then we can either top it up later or take a little bit more off as we need it. Okay, so the tools we're going to need for this, we've got a 14mm socket on a ratchet, pair of pliers, and just some water pump pliers there. There's our pads. So I'm going to take these two bolts off here first. That's pretty tight. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we're just gonna, I normally just twist the caliper a little bit on there so it just moves the pads so that you can get it past the, there's always a little lip on the old discs when they get to this sort of age. So we're just going to slide that out like that. There we are, guys. So what we're looking at there is basically the old pads. There's a pin somewhere in there. There we are, a little R-clip pin, which you can see there. The torch, we're gonna just take that out. It looks a bit rusty, but there it is. So that's out. And then we need to just get this one out here. You can either use a pair of pliers if it's not too bad, so it just literally slides in there, or we might have to just get a little, I think it's a 4mm in there, but I'm just gonna get that spanner now. Okay, so it's actually a 5mm. So yeah, just get that moving. It's a bit seized. We're going to clean these up with a little bit of emery cloth on the pins later. Just see if that will just move. So as I'm twisting it, I'm trying to pull it out at the same time. There we are, it's moved away. There we go. So yeah, the pin's pretty cruddy. We're gonna clean that off later with a bit of cloth before we put that in, so it's a nice fit. So pads are pretty worn, so we made a good choice of replacing those. So we're gonna just get a little wire brush down there and give that a clean up. so it all goes back nicely. Okay. Get that a bit further. A bit of a clean up there. Okay, so with that we're just going to push these pistons back with the pliers. What I tend to do is that we don't want marking the face on here, so just put something like a cloth or something over the top there, just so that we've got a bit of protection on that as we push it back. When you push it back, nice and slow, really slowly. We don't want to pop the seals firstly, and we certainly don't want this other one springing out either, so because they'll just keep going from one side to the other on there and just opening up. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so we've got a cloth, just going to literally put it over the top like that. Really nice and slow. Do the other side. Just nice and equal. There we go. So just for ease, I mean, I've got a little pad on there on that, so I'm just going to run that across like that. Doesn't take any metal off, just cleans it up. There we go. Okay, you can use wet and dry, but just get it nice and clean so that you don't have to push it back in with force. Okay, so with these old pads there, we're just going to take, there's a metal plate there, anti-swill. We're going to just put it on our new pad and put a little bit of copper grease in there, just to stop it from squealing. Okay, so this one just goes in there. There is, I'll show you this before we put it in. Just on that little bit there, there's a small tab in there, and that literally sits in there like that. And that piece, that little edge there goes onto that end there on the caliper itself. This one you've got to put on here first. So I'm going to push that on there. Now sometimes it's a bit sticky. You've got to clean it down, guys, to get a nice smooth edge, as smooth as you can. Really, it's you're going to find it pitty and corroded, but the pads slide on there, so you don't want that sticking. Otherwise, you're going to the pad isn't going to go in properly, and it's not going to come out properly. It's our pin. Put our pin in there. We've got a little hole there. That's where our R-clip's going to go. So I'm going to push it in like that, and the R-clip sits there. I tend to always replace the R-pins. The other one didn't look particularly good. So we always keep a small packet of R-pins handy, and that goes in like that. So there we go. We are pretty much ready to put that back in. Pistons are back. The pads are ready to all go back in there. And we'll put it back on the disc. Okay, back on we go. Locating the bolts in the back of the caliper, finger tight up first, so you know that you're not cross threading it, and then just tightening up. And nice. There we go. What I would say at this point is that what we need to do is make sure that we slowly push and pull on the brake until you feel it go a little bit harder, when the pads are literally biting against the disc. There we are, it's gone hard there. And then what we'll do is just top that up a little bit, and then put the cover back on. So there it is. I've done one side, but the other side is exactly the same. So if you like, share, guys, and until the next time.